So there is Kirby Air Riders at my college's game room, which is good. Unfortunately, this is my last semester in my college, so good luck to me on my finals. But since I'm on break right now for my studying, I guess I should play more of this. Yeah, I'll spend as much of my time as I can. I'm really excited to play this game finally for free, so specifically for free. Yeah, so expect a mini review soon, I guess.
Yeah, so I kind of almost forgot that I was supposed to be doing a review for Kirby Air Riders, at least a mini review, but technically, to be honest, why I didn't actually 100% the game on my first playthrough, the few hours that I spent from that little clip that actually in the beginning of the video that actually mentions that part. Yeah, I have a lot of fun in the game. That's to be expected, of course, is Kirby Air Riders. I'm a not a hardcore fan of Kirby Air Riders, but I really do love it, and it has a nostalgic place in my heart. And I actually did replay Air Rider for the first time afterwards. I think like just a few weeks ago from this recording, and possibly a week after, a week before this video is released. And yeah, comparing the two, I'm gonna say that yeah, I think Kirby Air Riders is the better game. However, you know what? Let's just start with the positives first. Let's start off with basically what everybody knows. City Trial. City Trial is to be expected. It's about the same as the original game, except the map's much more bigger. There's a lot more stuff to do, etc., etc. It's just basically a big improvement overall. I think there's nothing really to say about it. It is City Trial. Thankfully, it's not so barren anymore, since because there's more players on the map this time. Yeah, it gets a bit more chaotic, but its City Trial is, in all intents and purposes, a battle royale with carts. So it's kind of normal, honestly. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like what everybody says about City Trial and what's been said in the original title, it can just be said here, all the positives. And it's basically better by, I think, like 100%, maybe 5 times as much. I really don't know how to explain the words, but I really do have a lot of fun playing this game. I'm just really glad that nothing really changed that much. But you know what really changed? Yeah, so the races. Let's just talk about that, right? So the races, well, they're kind of standard, your typical few laps around the track. I'm gonna say, because of the visual upgrades, the visuals are super nice and super pretty, honestly. I really do love it. And of course, the characters that you can play, the stars, the availability of copy abilities this time is much more easier. It's not too spammy like some of the copy abilities were in the original title, but it's good and pretty balanced if I want to say something like that. I guess it's technically balanced, but I guess sometimes people could actually abuse it somehow. I know there's some way, but I can't figure it out yet. But luckily for those people, I'm at the time of this recording, I'm never going back to college. At least I think, because I already graduated. So unfortunately, the Switch 2 is unavailable for me now. Thankfully, I do remember my time, and basically I completed like 90% of the game already. So yeah, I had that much fun. Don't act me. Then you have Top Down. Top Down is pretty underrated. They improved a lot compared to the original title. But if you know what Top Down is, it's just basically doing the smaller race course. The vehicles are a little slower. You still have some items, but it's basically a top-down view. It's like those old top-down racing toys that people sometimes have back in the day. It's something like that. And it's much more faster at this point, not as chaotic. But there's nothing really much to say. I do think that Top Ride is the weakest mode out of the three, but it's good that Sakurai did keep it there, and I do love that it is an option. And I'm actually really happy that there's a few decent people, a few decent number of people who actually play Top Ride. Now, hopefully, it's not just because we just have to give this a chance and then we just move on. No, there's like some regular focus on that on online. Speaking of which, yeah, so the thing is, online was actually pretty good. I think this the expected any of these racing games, but online is actually pretty well deserved. Honestly, like they kind of need it, at least in this day and age. But for Kirby Air Riders, the thing is about the online is that while it's good and I love the lobby, it's just kind of weird to say the least. Like there is a technical ranking system that works just like Smash, and I hate that type of ranking system because it's never been clear, especially with like how Sakurai said it's a casual game. There's no rank mode. However, there's technically a rank system, just in case if you guys want to continue your progress and stuff. It was like, I guess, thanks. I don't know about that, but I think it's fine nonetheless. Now, so after that, were there any negatives? Not much. To be honest, this is technically a perfect sequel to the original title. There is one major gripe that I really want to discuss, and it's something that carried over from Mario Kart World. No, it's nothing about like the ability to choose, freedom and all that. No, it's not nothing that. It's the speed. The speed of this Kirby game, to me, for some reason, is slower. I don't know. Could be the frame rate thing, because if you haven't noticed, the difference in frame rate, if there's a higher frame rate compared to another thing, so let's say like, both of these games technically run at 60 frames per second. At least I think. I'm not really good of a frames type of guy. But listen, I played this. There's a 4K screen, basically, that runs this game apparently even faster than 60 frames per second. And I'm gonna say, the comparison of 120 to 60 is it's literally night and day. Like, I don't know why, but apparently the higher frames it just makes the game much more slower. I don't think it's a performance issue. I just think that the immersion of speed is literally not there. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? I personally think, for me, I like my racing games to be fast. At least the immersion of speed to be immersionally fast, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know any more words than that, honestly. My brain's fried from college. Please help me. Either way, there are a few times where the game modes just kind of is slow. Like, here's the thing. The traditional 3-lap races, at least in the racing mode, the first lap you're hilariously just pretty slow until you accelerate to like full speed. The main point of the game is to maintain your speed, which is something that the original title did work off of, and it did work the same way in this game. However, how you start the race, even with the significant speed boost from the start of the race speed boost from timing your thing, acceleration, that thing. Technically speaking, it's different in this game, but it's still there, and because of that, yeah, compared to the original title, the first lap, even with the speed boost, is just very slow. But it does make it to a point where your main goal is primarily to maintain speed, which is going to be hard for first-time players. Now the thing is, I had this game and it's normal speed, not slow speed, on its normal speed. So feeling that in normal speed, the first lap is super slow is just kind of sad, honestly. It could be something I'm doing wrong, but I mean, on the second lap, the speed increased significantly on the second lap, so I don't know. It could just be like a bug of sorts. I really don't know. Also, by the time I actually did record that little clip, it's technically been day 2, so I don't know if they actually fixed this or not. Please tell me in the comments below if they fixed this or not, because I'll be pretty sad if the first lap has always been this slow. I heard people I'd never heard anybody complain about this, and I was wondering if the original was always this slow, but no, the original game on the traditional race mode is just faster than this. Could be the decrease of frames per second, of course, like maybe 30 frames per second makes the immersion of speed both faster. I don't know, but but the thing is, I don't even remember if the original game runs at 60 because I saw everybody else and it does seem like it runs 60. So it could just be a fundamental change in the game. But yeah, that's my only major gripe about the game. Sometimes when some races it just starts slow. City Trial, yes, it's also slow compared to the original, but City Trial makes sense because you're supposed to build up your stats. You're not supposed to maintain speed. You're supposed to find items, build up stats, maybe run people over, attack them, kill them. But like, yeah, that's kind of about it. I feel like that's what the game is supposed to be for City Trial. You start slow, you do get faster, but the different types of vehicles, stats you just get, and then a minigame to decide everything. I think that's fine. And the funny thing is that the races in the minigame section of City Trial, like the ending of choose your course or choose your minigame, yeah, for those racing type ones, even the drag races, their first laps, the equivalent of first lap speed is just exactly the same as the original. Super fast. Or at least not super fast, it's more like just fast, but it's still super fast compared to like race mode. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, the only other thing that I would complain is that some of my favorite stars, yeah, some of these stars they got reworked, rebalanced just for this new one because we all know, because Sakurai knows that this game is going to be competitive someday because people don't like party games apparently. I don't know. I think people still like party games. I just think Sakurai just thinking about the competitive scene. I wonder if there is going to be one. That would be interesting to see. Although I feel like maybe it's just gotta be some niche people, of course. But yeah, that's my only gripe. Some of my favorite vehicles in this game is just kind of not good anymore. At least not as good as I remember. At least the Warp Star is better. I always am just a generic default type of guy. I just love the Warp Star. I do like it that it is better, but my favorite is usually it's just a normal wheelie. It's a bit upsetting that the wheelie is a bit slower now. At least how I feel about it. Well, that's kind of all my thoughts, and basically, yeah, I have a lot of mostly just positives. There's barely any negatives. Again, the only negative is the speed, but speed is technically barely an issue once you actually get the handle of maintaining that speed. To be honest, I feel like Kirby Air Riders. I think Kirby Air Riders, the sequel, right? Not the original title, Kirby Air Ride. I think it took a lot of inspiration from Sonic, I guess. I'm just kidding, of course. But yeah, maintaining speed is one thing. But I kind of do wish that at least for the newer players, they can start off being at least just relatively fast and then trying to maintain speed and getting more speed afterwards. Not just starting super slow, because it is kind of a little upsetting. Oh wait, there is one more thing I forgot. Yeah, Road Trip. It's fine. I do like Road Trip. There's, unlike other people, for me, it's kind of just, it's good. I like it. But it does feel very generic, except for, of course, unlocking other endings, thanks to Ant Dude, who actually did that. And I realized that I was missing one more ending. Oh well. But yeah, that's why I said I completed about 90% of the story. Yeah, I completed 90% of the story. And that's why I didn't do 100% because I was missing one more ending. Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks, Ed Dude, I guess. Yeah, either way. Yeah, I do think the game is worth it. I feel like $70 is a good price. Yeah, it's worth it because it has everything, no DLC, no nothing. Right? It's just all the content right there. $70? That's good. Is it really worth getting the Switch 2 though? No. Because it's Kirby Air Riders. And while I am one of those fans, right, for Kirby Air Ride, right? And I feel like a lot of people would say like it's worth it. I do think it's worth it for the game itself. I just don't think it's worth getting a Switch 2. Whatever, get a Switch 2 to get this game, yes. Once the price drops, or like few years down the line, once we get a Switch 3 and backwards compatibility for Switch 1 and 2, then I'll buy the Switch 3 and then, like, yeah, I'll get the game at that time. I don't know how many people would actually remember that game existing, but maybe we'll have the same cult following like we did for Air Ride. Then again, I feel like we already had that a few months already. Thanks, Fobo. But yeah, my name is Poe. I'll see you guys later. To be honest, this feels more like an actual review than a mini review, because I did complete the game already. Technically speaking. I don't know. Catch you guys later. Might trim some of this stuff out, so if this is like 15 minutes long, maybe that's why, but yeah, to be honest, there's nothing really much to talk about for Kirby Air Riders because a lot of people said their positive things about it. Yeah, but I feel like people are missing the point, missing the natural flaw that this game is actually pretty slow in some of its modes. Still don't know they patched it or not. Kind of wish I could go back to college and play it again. Almost.